This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. You want to know what the dirty secret is of plea bargaining when it comes to indicted defendants and a prosecutor's office? Because we're seeing it play out in Fulton County, Georgia with Fani Willis. Here's the dirty little secret. Those that come in towards the beginning get a better deal than those that come in later. In fact, those that try to come in later, if the prosecutors don't need them because they've already gotten enough from the first batch of cooperating former co-conspirators or indicted co-conspirators, they're not even going to cut a deal for you at all. And that's the dilemma, the prisoner's dilemma, if you will, that you are in when you are indicted and trying to time your cooperation, if you're going to. If you wait too long and too late, the door may shut and be barred, and you won't be able to take a deal because there won't be one offered. Scott Hall, to prove my point, bail bondsman, person who broke into voting machines and downloaded illegally computer data related to people's private voting information, he came in first. Listen to the deal he got. Yes, he pled guilty. We showed it on the MeidasTouch network, but he's not going to be sentenced to any jail time. He's going to get 5 years of probation for cooperating fully with Fani Willis. That's a pretty good deal. The next couple, and if she really needs them, she'll offer sweetheart deals like that to those kind of people. They won't face jail time. They'll have to plead guilty because she's already set the standard in the bar with Scott Hall. She's not going to not let somebody. She's going to require all of them to plead guilty. She may not make them serve jail time. They might be on probation, but she's not going to give a better sweetheart deal than what we just saw laid down against Scott Hall. Now, there's another set of reporting that says the next person up in her list to get cooperation is Mike Roman. That's an interesting witness. Let me talk about that person indicted in Georgia. Mike Roman was the head of Donald Trump's election day ground game, his operation. He ended up being the person that went around literally collecting the fake elector certificates and making sure they got delivered to the National Archive and ultimately to Mike Pence. I was going to say awaiting Mike Pence, but he didn't really want them as the president of the Senate. Somebody had to do that job, apparently. It's one of those dirty jobs that, on Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is. And that was his dirty job. He had to do that, among other things. He also, as far as the Jan 6 committee and other tests and other evidence that we have, knows a lot about the fact that Donald Trump knew he lost and knew that his fraudulent voting theory, dead voters, unregistered voters, voters from another state, illegal, Chinese ballots being fed into machines was all a hoax, was all fake. And so he can testify to that. Mike Roman has cooperated, at least given what we call a limited use immunity, meaning queen for the day, meaning anything he says to a prosecutor can't be used against him as long as he's truthful, although they won't give him what's called transactional immunity. They'll still nail him if they have to use other people's evidence to do it. They'll still nail him for a crime. He already cooperated, Mike Roman, with Jack Smith, special counsel, special prosecutor, Donald Trump in the federal side. We know that. And he hasn't been indicted over there yet. Now, Fani Willis has offered Mike Roman apparently a deal, but he's, as of yet, has turned it down. I don't know why. I know he was a Trumper, but I don't think he was that. It had that much fealty to Donald Trump, but we will see. This is her MO, Fani Willis, how she tries these mega cases. Not MAGA, mega size. The easiest comparable for this, closest comparable, is she tried a racketeering conspiracy case against the Atlanta Public School Board members who are in a bribery scandal, and there were 35 of them she indicted. Okay, there were 19, now 18 in the election interference case. She eventually went to trial with 12 because 23, if I did my math right, even though I didn't go to the Atlanta Public Schools, I got the math right, 23 cut a deal. That's pretty good odds. If those same percentages hold here, as I said before, somewhere between 5 and 8 will be left to try. I can pick out which ones those are. The ones that have, still drinking the Kool-Aid. Trump, Giuliani, probably Sidney Powell, John Eastman for sure. That's 4, maybe Ken Chesebro. Now, Ken Chesebro and Sidney Powell are going to trial on October the 23rd, with a jury selection starting on the 20th of October. And they'll be offered a deal. We know that because it was announced in court last week during a court proceeding where the judge inquired of the special prosecutor that's prosecuting the case, is there a possibility of a plea deal or plea being offered, plea agreement being offered? And the lawyer said, yes, we're just getting around to preparing it, but we'll be reaching out to each of them individually. I'm not saying they're going to take it, but they're firing out plea deals left and right, which again is a part of her successful, Fani Willis's successful prosecution. Before she even got the indictment, in between the time the special purpose grand jury made its recommendations after they've been in deliberations for 7 months in an advisory capacity, a little unique twist in Georgia, not the indicting grand jury, the advising grand jury. Right after that, and before she opened up her real grand jury for an indictment, she got cooperation of 8 of the fake electors in Georgia. 8 out of about, I think it's 15 or 16. So they've been cooperating all this time. And now they've turned around and taken down the other fake electors that were involved, like Kathy Latham and Misty Hampton and the rest that are all still in the case. So we are watching a master chess player in Fani Willis. And as she tries to get the Mike Romans of the world, and she's already gotten Scott Hall, and people have got to be looking at Scott Hall and going, geez, that's a great deal. A lot of these people don't have the money to fight this, and Donald Trump isn't paying all of their legal fees or any of their legal fees. In fact, that well is starting to run dry. He doesn't like to use his own money. He likes to use other people's money, meaning you donors, your money, and he doesn't want to do it for everybody. And now that there's still 18 left in that trial, he's not paying for them to make these decisions. And so we'll have to see. As I said before, only half jokingly, you'll hear more flipping in Georgia than the International House of Pancakes on a Sunday morning, because Fani Willis is that good. Now timing is important. They have to understand how a clock works. I'm talking about the co-defendants. They come in, it's like, it's a little bit like Goldilocks. Come in early, it's just, sort of just right. Come in later, not so good. That bowl of porridge isn't great, or it's not offered to you at all. You come in too late, the wrong batch, Fani Willis could just say, I got enough all filled up with cooperating witnesses, thank you. No vacancy. And then you're screwed. She doesn't have to cut a deal with you. Even if you want to, now, if you want to take one for the maximum penalty, sure. I'm talking about a sweetheart deal, a better deal. Those aren't being offered. Those aren't unlimited. There's a finite supply. Act now while supplies last, like that. And so I'll continue to follow the developments of Fani Willis as she builds her case and as she figures out who she's finally going to go to trial with, the total number, and get others to cooperate and be cooperating witnesses instead of co-conspirators looking down the barrel of a conviction and a 20-year or more prison sentence. I'll follow it on Legal AF, the leading podcast at that intersection of law, politics, and justice. One place, the MeidasTouch Network exclusively. I co-anchor it on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I co-founded it. If you like what I'm doing, leave me a thumbs up here. It helps with the ratings. You can subscribe free to the MeidasTouch Network. It helps. The bigger they get, the more your voice is heard. And until my next hot take, until my next episode of Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.